Alright, big news dump, folks. We now know who the illustrious 16 warbands are, and yep, 16 divided by 4 means 4 warbands each, from each of the 4 Grand Alliances. That joins the 2 Embergard core box warbands, as well as the 2 other warbands that will be released very shortly after the box drops. We also do indeed have a roadmap and some very welcome news on frequent balance updates, as well as news on what happens with the remaining 38 or so odd warbands not included in the new release thingy. So let's get cracking. Let's start with the roadmap. From left to right, where we see the Embergard starter about to be released very soon. We also see next to it, also in the year of 2024, the 16 returning warbands, as well as the 2 new ones and 2 new rival decks. So that'll mean a total of 20 warbands and 6 decks. Very welcome to see new rival decks fairly close to the release of the box, especially for Nemesis players that will want to conjure up some fun combinations without things going too stale. Then 2025 only has 2 new warbands and 2 new rival decks, although it says more to come in the corner there, so remains to be seen what that means. Let's get into the 16 warbands and the 4 Grand Alliance boxes they come in. First up is the Order 1, named Heroes and Hunters, and it does include Hexbane's Hunters, Majoris Purifiers, Thunderix Profiteers, and Iltharis Guardians. They are also tagged with their preferred playstyle here, with Hexbane and Iltharis being Strike, Thunderix Mastery, and Majoris Flex. I never really played Iltharis as a Strike warband myself, but things are obviously gonna change quite a bit with the new fighter cards and war scrolls. I think both Thunderix and Iltharis are 2 classic warbands that newer players probably have been pretty keen to get their hands on, so happy to see them research here. And Hexbane's Hunters are obviously one of my favorite warbands as well, so happy to see them included here. Let's move over to Chaos, where we have the box named Despoilers and Demons. Interesting to see Kagra and her fellow Despoilers adhere to the Hold playstyle, given their mechanic in the old version. Less surprising maybe to see the Pandemonium Sport Mastery. Dread Pageant was already an excellent flex warband and has stayed so. Excellent remains to be seen, of course, while Gorehulk will Hulk Smash with the Strike playstyle. I would have personally preferred to see Eyes of the Nine have a glow up here rather than the Pandemonium, but I at least hope the Tzeentchians won't stay as strong as they were in the previous iteration. Next one is Revenants of the Realms with the Death warbands, and here we will see the Headsman's Cursed Shop Heads with the Strike playstyle, while Crimson Court will flex their muscles. The Reapers will also flex while, and I'm very happy to see these guys again. I totally messed up the paint job on them the last time. The Grimwatch will hold true to their old beliefs. Do note that all these playstyles do not in any way limit you to only use decks of that particular playstyle in either format. It merely is a suggestion based on the warband size and mechanic and some such. Last one sees the Brutes and Bandits of the Destruction Grand Alliance with the Noble Knights of the Loon Court sporting the Flex playstyle, Black Powder's Buccaneers. I love these guys. Try to master Mastery, and yeah, it has taken some mastery to master them in the past for sure. Daikanin Crew will flex, while Morgoth's Crushers will obviously Strike, Shop, and Bash. Then we also get to know that if we already own these bands, there is a separate release with only cards and scrolls for these 16 warbands, which is obviously very welcome, and every other existing warband in the game will also receive free digital download, although organized play will have a tighter pool of warbands and decks in rotation to make sure every player has access to buy the same warbands and cards, but we don't have information on the specific warbands right now. One can only guess that it's maybe these 20 plus maybe some recent releases from the last 1 or 2 years or so, but I won't speculate too much on that. So yeah, lots of news to digest here as always. Stuff here will stir up some emotions. I totally get that. There's been a lot of emotions on the forums, the YouTubes and whatnot, and I totally understand that it can tear some people apart to see their old favorites get the boot, or a reboot for that matter. I can both sympathize with the fact that we needed some sort of reboot or reset, but I can also sympathize with folks thinking it is, or seems to be at least, a too harsh an update or reboot. But we have to also reserve final judgment on these things. I would also like to thank everyone in the comment section for staying really civil and nice and engaging in a lot of discussions through the course of these videos on the news of Embergard, even though opinions can obviously vary quite a lot. Thank you all so much for watching, and don't forget to like the video and have a great rest of your day. Bye. I would like to thank all my wonderful members that support my work. Every penny goes straight into new minis, new paint, equipment and whatnot. Your support means a lot. If you are not yet a member, what you can expect from a future membership is access to the member Discord, early access to videos, member deck review, and just generally a greater influence on the content I put out. I will surely add more features to the member side of things as I progress as well. Furthermore, I would also like to mention that if you are looking to buy Warhammer merch, you can now support the channel via clicking the link provided in the description of the video to help the channel with a small but valuable kickback without any extra cost for you by making any of your purchases via the link. Lastly, don't forget to like the video. A small click for you that still means a lot for me and the elusive YouTube algorithm to get the video into a more favorable position amongst the very steep competition out there on the YouTubes. And do feel free to comment as well. I'm always interested in hearing what you have to say. Any engagement is welcome really, and I always strive to answer any comment I do get.